Right now, you are wearing something. You probably put it on without thinking. You reached for it this morning the same way your ancestors reached for fire. Automatically, instinctively, as if your survival depended on it. And for most of human history, it did. But not for the reason you were taught. The story of clothes is not the story of modesty. It is not simply the story of cold weather. It is the story of a species that lost something extraordinary and was forced to replace it. Around 3 million years ago, your ancestors were covered in fur. Dense, protective fur, like the apes alive today. Then something happened. Slowly, over hundreds of thousands of years, that fur disappeared. Anthropologist Nina Jablonski at Penn State University spent decades studying this shift. Her conclusion: humans lost their fur not because they moved somewhere cold. They lost it because they moved somewhere hot. Your early ancestors were expanding across the African savanna, open grasslands, midday sun. They were endurance hunters, chasing prey for hours across blistering terrain. Fur is a thermal trap. It holds heat. So over generations, natural selection dismantled the coat and replaced it with sweat glands. Millions of them, more than any other primate on Earth. You became a cooling machine, but cooling machines get cold at night. The African savanna drops 30 degrees between noon and midnight. Your bare skin, the same adaptation that let your ancestors outrun prey, became a liability the moment the sun went down. So they did what any intelligent primate would do when faced with a problem they could not solve biologically. They borrowed the solution, specifically from other animals. The first body coverings were not woven, they were draped. A dead animal's hide, pulled from the carcass, laid across the shoulders. Paleoanthropologist Francesco De Rico at the University of Bordeaux found cut marks on ancient bones, suggesting early humans removed hides deliberately, not just for meat, but for the skin itself, as far back as 780,000 years ago, before modern humans even existed. The evidence for when clothing became a habit is embedded in something unexpected. Lice. Your body harbors two types: head lice, which live in hair; body lice, which live in clothing. They share a common ancestor, and geneticist Mark Stoneking at the Max Planck Institute calculated when they diverged, which is also when humans first wore clothes regularly enough for a new parasite to evolve around them. His answer: between 83,000 and 170,000 years ago. That number is a biological timestamp for the moment clothing became a system, not an accident. And once it existed as a system, something unexpected happened. It stopped being only about temperature. The moment you cover your body, you create a surface that can be marked, decorated, differentiated. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner documented how ornamentation functions as social information in the oldest living cultures on Earth. Who you are, what group you belong to, what you are signaling. The outside of the body becomes a message. Clothing becomes language. Your brain evolved to read that language. You look at what someone is wearing, and in less than a second, you have made a dozen calculations about who they are. That rapid social assessment, built over tens of thousands of years, is wired into your cognition right now. You cannot turn it off. This is the pattern that keeps repeating. A biological limitation creates pressure. Pressure drives a solution. The solution solves the original problem, but creates something new. Something cultural, social, psychological. Clothing was protection, then status, then art, then shame, then liberation. All of those things simultaneously, depending on which century you landed in. And every thread of that story leads back to a species that lost its fur. Right now, you are wearing something. You probably put it on without thinking. But the reason it exists is that your ancestors were naked in the dark, and they were smart enough to do something about it.